The Shep Naz Podcast begins now.
Welcome to the Shep Naz Podcast. I'm Joe, and I'm your host today, and I am pleased to have with me a whole room full of people that are going to tell you a lot of things that are going on here at Shepherd. And so we're going to kick it off by starting with Pastor Rob, and then he can introduce everybody else that's sitting with us.
Yeah.
All right, Pastor.
Yes. Hey, welcome to everybody who's joining us today. Glad that you're here. We have a lot of stuff going on around here, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. We did talk about it, or we're going to talk about it on Sunday, but can't talk too much on a Sunday because we don't want to take too much time. But we wanted to fill you in on all the stuff that's going on around here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things. They're fairly large. We wanted to fill you in on. And Zack is here with me, and Nick is here with me, and Joe is here with me. And so they're going to help me break it down and share with you all the stuff that's going on. And maybe the first thing that we want to share with you is that we have hired a new part-time worship leader to help us in Johnstown, and I'm going to let Zack talk to you about him, and so you can get to know him a little bit. You'll see him and meet him soon, but we wanted to give you the opportunity to hear about him on the podcast and learn a little bit about him.
Absolutely. So we are super excited and blessed. We have officially offered a good friend of mine named Noah Burris a part-time position as the worship leader out of Johnstown. As many of you know, Shelly has recently stepped into a new area of ministry, and that left a little bit of a hole and a need in Johnstown for leading worship. We are super blessed to have an awesome team of people that are volunteers here that we've sent up and are helping out. But we're really excited to have Noah coming on board starting on Easter Sunday. Will be his first Sunday. He's finishing up his last week at his current church, which is Meadow Park up off Bethel Road. And his uncle is the main worship leader pastor there.
Which, incidentally, which people may not know, his name is Roger, and Roger was the junior high youth pastor when I was the high school youth pastor at Grove City. And Roger is insanely talented. Like, he can just sit down at a keyboard and do anything with. He can make it do anything, and he knows anything. I don't even know if he still reads music. He didn't back then, but if he listened to a song, he could play it. Yeah. And Rogers, he's amazing.
Yep, super talented.
I hope he still likes me since we hired him.
Just send him like a gift basket or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you're listening, Roger, that's how much we like you.
Yes.
We still love you, friend. But the cool thing about Noah is, speaking of Grove City, small little world Nazarene moments. When I started in ministry, my first position ever was in youth ministry at Grove City. And that's where I met Noah. He was a teenager in the youth group and was just going through some stuff. And my boss at the time came up and said, "Hey, we got this young guy. Apparently he plays some music. Would you want to just hang out with him, come alongside him, take him out to lunch, just pour into him a little bit?" And Noah and I hit it off ever since then. And so I've really been mentoring Noah for the past 7-8 years. He was an intern with me down in Logan. He played with us all my time at Grove City at the youth. And so I'm excited just because I know Noah's heart, I know his ability. And on top of being a super talented musician, and I'm sure you can pour into this a little bit too, Nick, he's got a huge heart for outreach. And in fact, I can't remember how long ago. You should also know, Noah's not, he's a young guy. He's just turned 20. And Noah on his own just felt God calling him to start a homeless ministry. And he's like, I don't know what, and I don't know how. I'm just going to go start and figure it out. So he's just driving around Columbus, found a church, knocked on the door, talked to the pastor, and the pastor's like, "Yep, you can do it here. We'll just make it happen." He said, "All right, now I need to find food. How am I going to find food?" I made one phone call to a gentleman named Fred Reeser, also from Grove City, who runs one of the largest homeless ministries in the Hilltop area through the Reeser Foundation, Jordan's Crossing. And just kind of pitched this idea to him and said, "Hey, I don't know, where do I start?" And he said, "You tell me how many meals you need, when you need them, and I'll get them to you." And so within this super short amount of time, Noah just felt God called him to do it, and God opened every door. And so now, even today, every Friday night, Noah goes and feeds up to 100 homeless people at the location, then also fills a backpack full of food and stuff and walks the train tracks and goes to homeless camps and feeds these people and has relationships with them. And he's leading people to the Lord and helping them get their lives back on track. So He's got a passion for outreach, and I don't know if you want to speak into that. You guys have talked a little bit about what that could look like for him as well up in Johnstown.
Yeah, and that was I've met Noah a couple times now, and that was just very apparent from the get-go that, like, yeah, you want a worship leader in this context to be able to do the task of leading and have the skills necessary. But what impressed me was the heart for not just doing a task, but really for reaching people for Jesus in creative ways. And I said, well, we've definitely got opportunities like that in Johnstown, and the things that we're already doing with the food bank ministry. And he was real excited about that and the possibilities of, because that was something, even when I first started, the food bank was like impressive. Like, and I just saw the potential for it to be able to multiply and do even greater things than it was already doing. So just sharing that with him and just the possibilities that we can start to dream about, I mean, just have me really excited about what could come from it. So
Cool. He even said he'd be willing to mow the grass. It's on the record. So Noah, if you're watching this and listening, you offered it, man.
Yep. Don't say it if you don't mean it around here.
Come on.
Yeah.
I heard it.
And another funny, he's been at our church and played drums about a month or so ago. And it's funny because his mom was here, and I knew his mom, and she walks into church on Sunday morning. I'm like, hey, Sherry, what are you doing here? She goes, oh, well, we're here because my son's playing drums. I'm like, oh, who's your son? And I didn't even know. And she's like, Noah. I'm like, no, I did not know that Noah was your son. I knew her back from in the day, too. So, so it's kind of a small world, but we're really excited to have Noah on. And like we said, he starts on Easter Sunday.
It's a big day.
Yeah, it's going to be a great day. And speaking of Easter Sunday, another segue.
Yes.
Look at that. Look how that worked out.
We're professional
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
We have an outline.
So many of you know we've been talking about the campus in Johnstown, and our goal has been to launch, to move really from Northridge High School to the new location. And if you're not aware of it, we have partnered with Youth for Christ of Central Ohio. They have some property in Johnstown. They have a house and then an old, and when I say old, like I really do mean old.
Old.
Like in the early or late 1800s, I think it was built, or early 1900s.
Early 110 years plus, roundabout.
Yeah. So they have this sanctuary. It was an old Catholic church. And then there's a community center, which was kind of the fellowship hall of all that connected. So all three of those things Youth for Christ owns, and we are leasing all three of them, actually. We're going to be having church in the sanctuary. The house is going to be an office for Pastor Nick, and there'll be Sunday school rooms or classrooms or things that happen in there.
Multi-purpose,
Yeah. And then the community center will be a place where we'll probably do children's ministry on
Sunday mornings. Yep, that's what we hope.
So so we're really pushing hard to get to be able to have our first service in the sanctuary on Easter Sunday, and things are going really well. We've got a lot of stuff done in there. Tell us some of the things that we have already accomplished.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago where I was on here sharing about just some of the progress that we were have accomplished there at the property, and I shared about the 4 dumpsters and different things. I mean, it was a lot
large
of
dumpsters.
Yeah, 4 30-yard dumpsters. But it is an old church with a lot of accumulation. So we had to go in there and just really start fresh, and so that we could start adding to it. And a lot of work's been done inside, outside, and still some things to be done. But we were accomplished a lot really in 30, 45 days, because we signed at the end of January, and it was like, okay, let's go, because we had the Easter date in mind right from the start. And so there's been some good things accomplished, but also some setbacks that have come along the way that we just run into at any project you have come along. So
So we've gutted it, painted it. We've got a new electric run, wiring, data cable and that kind of stuff. We're going to put a new screen similar to the one we have in our sanctuary in there. It'll be appropriate to the size of the sanctuary and all that. A new sound system sitting ready to go. and we were getting ready to put all those things in, and
Like I said, setbacks.
yeah, so we did have a small snafu that is a bit of a setback, but not. That's all it is. It's a setback. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not the end of the world. But you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we like I said, we spent a lot of time getting things out, and then came time to put things in. And in that process, we came across, unbeknownst to us, just a bad situation, and so we had to go in and do the proper things that needs to address that. And so
Yeah.
doing that in the process then set everything else back that is delaying everything. So
Right.
Unfortunately, what we're gonna have to do is pivot on our Easter launch. Instead of being in that building, we'll be next door in the fellowship hall to
Yeah.
have services until we can get the sanctuary building in shape.
Yeah.
At Shepherd, we truly value the opportunity for spiritual growth on a daily basis. Of course, we have worship and teaching during our Sunday services, but it doesn't stop there. For over a year now, we've had the Shepnaz podcast each weekday, and now we want to add more tools to your tool belt. Each week, as we post the Sunday message online, you will find not only the message notes from Sunday with the blanks filled in, but you will also find a 5-day devotional, a small group leader guide, and a parent guide to help relate Sunday's message to your family. Visit shepnaz.org/engage to learn more.
Yeah, and it just takes a little while to it's just a process that it takes to get them out and then clean and all that other
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So when it's all said and done, it'll be perfectly great. It'll be great, perfect
yeah.
space with none of
Yeah.
that. But in the process, we needed to stay out, so we can't really get in there to work
Yep,
right now.
it delayed everything.
Yeah, so I mean,
I was
we had-
pretty bummed.
Yeah, but we believe in God's timing. He knew it.
Yeah.
There's a reason for it. So we are moving on Easter Sunday
Yep.
from the high school to the community center, and that's where our service will be. And there's a lot of excitement in the community.
Oh yeah,
It's all over.
word's getting out. I mean, people that just come across the mayor and different people, thrift store owner, just mentioned that. Hey, are you the church? That's us. So
Yeah.
we're excited to be in there, and then we'll have an official grand opening of that
Right.
sanctuary when the time is right.
Yeah. And we don't know exactly when. We're hoping it's not going to be super long, a month, maybe 5 or 6 weeks, something like that. Hopefully maybe not even that
it
long.
could be
So
sooner than that.
once we get the green light to get back in the building, we're ready to go. Everybody's ready to go. So
Yeah.
and we actually have all of the stuff, I believe, that we need to install.
Oh yeah, everything
Where-
is in place.
Like when we did the Central Complex, we just now got the soundboard. Just now.
Yeah.
So the stuff for Johnstown is ready to go. It
So
we just need
yeah.
to be able to get in there. Yeah. So good.
I think it's a cool reminder too, just to jump in. Like, this is like the perfect opportunity to highlight that, like, church in the presence of God's Spirit can't be contained in a specific place, right?
Yep.
Like, we're gonna have the same encounter with the Holy Spirit and with the same Jesus, and celebrating the same resurrection in that fellowship hall that we would have been celebrating in the actual sanctuary room. So I have no doubt that God's going to move in such a mighty way, no matter what room or space we meet in.
Yeah.
So be excited for that too.
Yep. It reminds me of the upper room, only it's on the main floor. That's what's going to happen. Same thing's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
I look forward to that.
Yep, it's going to be good stuff. So yeah, very good. Well, we have a lot of stuff. I'm going to do one more, and then we'll go to another episode. But
All right.
while we're speaking about Easter, one of the things, this is Holy Week is coming up, and that's going to be next week. And one of the things that we're excited about offering everybody as just a way to participate in Holy Week is to sign up to receive a text during Holy Week. And so, as you know, there's a lot of things that happened in Jesus' life on that last week. It all started on Palm Sunday when he rode into town and really courageously declared that he was the Messiah. And then that was a crazy week. And just to kind of heighten your senses to what is going on and what was happening in Jesus' life, if you sign up for this, you'll receive 1 to 2 texts every day. We have them timed so that they're not going to be like bothering you at work or whatever. They might be in the morning or in the evening or whatever. But just to remind you of, this is Monday. This is what happened in Jesus' life on Monday. This is what happened on Tuesday. and Wednesday, because it was a very eventful week. On Friday, you'll get a lot of texts, like 8 or 9, but it'll be actually chronologically timed that you'll get the text of what happened in Jesus' life as it actually happened. So, and it just be a short one. There, maybe a sentence or two, but it'll remind you these are the things that are happening in Jesus' life right now as we go through this Holy Week. And then on Saturday and Sunday. So if you're interested in that, you can text the word Holy Week with no spaces to the number 614-820-8094. That's 614-820-8094. And just text the word Holy Week without any spaces. And that'll get you signed up for it. And we'll talk about it on Sunday. And maybe on the show notes, we can put the number in the bottom as well.
Sure.
Do we have show notes? Are we like that cool?
Yeah, we are that cool.
Oh, that's what I thought we were.
If you're watching it on YouTube, if you look down in the description, you'll see that stuff. Or if you are on any of the audio platforms, there'll be show notes that you can look at. I was just going to jump in a little bit about those texts. We did the Good Friday. We haven't done the entire Holy Week like this before, so that's a little different than in the past. But I can say when we did the Good Friday text before, I'm doing stuff throughout the day, as we all are, and I can tell you when you get that text, it's almost like a news alert, and at 3:00 in the afternoon it says Jesus died, and I can remember just in the past year or so when I got that text and you look at it and you're like, yeah, that's how it would have really happened. Like if you were bringing it into modern day, think of the times when somebody that you knew passed away and you got some sort of notification. It was a phone call or a text or something like that. And it just hit me in a different way, knowing this was the time and that, whatever I was doing in my life at that moment, how it would have hit me at that moment.
Yeah. I think the other thing I like about it is it just kind of heightens your awareness for Easter morning when we celebrate the resurrection. So, so if you want to be a part of that, as Joe said, they'll be in the show notes or on the YouTube down in the bottom description and all that. And there'll be a QR code on Sunday you can scan as well. But just a kind of a cool way to experience Holy Week as well. So,
All right. So you want to hit the rest of the stuff on the next episode then?
Yeah, I think so.
All right,
we just dumped a lot.
With that said, then, we'll wrap up for today. As we were talking, of course, you can go to the show notes to look for that information. Again, that number is 614-820-8094. And you can text the word Holy Week, all one word, and you'll be signed up to get those texts. Also, you can follow along with everything that's going on in the church at shepnaz.org and also on Facebook and Instagram. For Pastor Rob, Pastor Zack, Pastor Nick, I'm Joe. Have a great day. This podcast is a production of the Shepherd Church of the Nazarene, Gahanna, Ohio. Email to podcast@shepnaz.org and let us know what you think.